Okay, number one. So we're going to go through and do our statements and our reasons, but the first thing you really want to do is see if we can figure out where we're going with this. So we want to prove that CB and YZ are congruent. So it's CB, let me use a different color, CB and YZ. Well, I'm going to venture a guess that our plan here should be to get triangle CBA congruent to triangle YZX. And there's a little trick here. You see the CB? You just figure out what the third letter is and write it exactly in the order that they're giving them to you. CB, XY, that means those are the corresponding sides. All right, so CB, the third letter is A, XY, the third letter is X. So I don't know if that helps or not, but other thing we want to notice is our last step is going to be corresponding parts CPCTC, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. My pen is stuck. CPCTC. There you go. Okay, so we actually know the last two steps here. So let's get the rest of it done. The first thing is going to be your givens, which you will write out on a test or quiz. The second part, we're going to go through each given. We're going to mark and then we're going to write anything we can. AC perpendicular to CB. AC perpendicular to CB, that would give us this. ZY perpendicular to XY, ZY perpendicular to XY would give us that. Okay, so those two markings are showing that Y and C, so angle C and angle Y are right angles. So we can say angle C is congruent to angle Y, and the reason is a perpendicular implies two congruent right angles. Okay, so number 3. Let's go to the next given. Given AC and XY are congruent, so AC is congruent to XY. So we'll just mark them off. And what you want to kind of do is put a little S there. We have a side of this triangle that we're trying to get congruent. So that's important to know. Okay, next one. AX and BZ are congruent. AX and BZ are congruent. Okay, that's not the side of a triangle that we're trying to prove. So let me just show you something. There's a piece and there's a piece, but it's not a side of a triangle. So what we need to do is be able to extend this guy this way. So it's going to be AB, and the same thing here is ZX. So you want to use that addition postulate, but before you do that, you have to state that XB is congruent to XB. So let's do that. XB congruent to XB, and that would be the reflexive property. Okay, so now we can now state that AB is congruent to ZX, and that's because when we add the same thing to congruent pieces, we get two new congruent pieces. Okay, so our next step is to say that AB is congruent to ZX. And that would be the addition postulate. Okay, so what we have here is a right triangle, and we have an angle here that's congruent to an angle, that's right triangle, but we have a leg and a hypotenuse It's a leg and a hypotenuse congruent to a leg and a hypotenuse. So that is hypotenuse leg congruent to hypotenuse leg. So the statement is that two triangles are congruent. The CBA is congruent to triangle YZX. And there's your reason. It's not the end of the proof, though. We're actually trying to prove that CB is congruent to YZ. Okay, so the reason that is because of that CPCTC thing. Okay, so that's number one. You're done. We've proven it.